We've got to get off to a better start on first down. We've had too many, whether it's a penalty to put us back or, lost yardage play. So now you're in second and long, you're already off schedule. And it's not a good thing. And then once we get to third down, we have to execute better. I thought on Saturday there were plays to be made there, and whether it was a protection breakdown or, a poor throw or whatever it was, we just didn't make the play. It'll get better. I really, I can't guarantee it. I'm not into guarantees, but I do believe that we're working at it, and it'll definitely, in my opinion, it will improve. But it needs to. There's no question about it. It has to improve.
Bill, with Christian's arm strength, how does one continue to improve upon that throughout his college career, and also how much of it is just natural?
Yeah, well, a lot of it has to do with mechanics. That he's able to use the proper footwork, and he's able to finish his throws and have his elbow in the proper place and have the proper grip on the ball. And you're right, he's a strong guy. He's a big, strong guy. So, he's got a strong arm. But his arm strength will continue to improve as he becomes stronger himself. He's only 18 years old. So as he has only had, one month in our weight program. So as he continues to get stronger and leg strength is better and upper body strength, you'll see his arm strength improve. But that's where he's got to really understand how much he's got to work on his touch passes, his underneath passes, his throws to backs. Usually backs are recruited to run the ball, not catch the ball. So you got to give him good throws. So you have to have nice touch on those balls, and so hopefully that'll continue. But you'll see his arm. I think you'll see his arm strength improve as he plays.
You get so many questions about Allen and the tight ends. How important is Brandon Felder to what you're trying to accomplish, especially with him, being kind of a possession underneath guy?
Yeah, he's very important to what we do. Again, he probably should have some more catches in the time that I've been here. Whether it was we didn't read it right or maybe his route could have been better. But he's very important to what we do. He's one of those unsung guys. He practices every day. He's a very smart guy. He's a really good route runner, very smooth route runner. Really enjoy coaching him, and he's very important to what we do. So I think that if Hull can go, it would be Hull, Carson, and Wortman more than likely. If Hull, has some issues here throughout the week, then we'll go with whoever we have there, whether it's Obang or somebody else. But Obang will play, and he'll have a role in the game, just like he's had the past 2 weeks.
Bill, you've been the university's been on a pretty good run with defensive linemen. What is it about LJ and his coaching style that's, help create this?
Yeah, well, he's first of all, he's a great person. So they're around him a lot. They like to be around him. His office door is always open. Defensive line coaches and offensive line coaches, they kind of have their own world. Those are very, very tough positions in football to play. Those are, like I always say, those are about 100 car crashes a game. So it's a little bit different than playing corner and wide receiver. Just a little bit. So there's a very deep bond with your coach at those positions, wherever I've been. And Larry is no exception to that because of the type of person he is. Then when he coaches, he's very, very technical in how he coaches these guys. He understands pad level, he understands hand placement, he understands the work ethic that it needs, that position requires. So when you watch him at practice, those guys really don't take a drill off. They are going, and if they're not going the way he wants them to go, they're going to do up downs. So he demands a lot of his position. Great family guy, has him over the house, things like that. Whatever's allowed by the NCAA. They're very, very close to their coach, and I'd say the same thing about McNamara.
In the back here, Christian's play-action fake is something I've noticed over the first 2 games here, how effective it's been.
Yep.
Is that something he had coming in? Is that something you had to work with? And how valuable is that for a young quarterback and as a play caller?
Yeah, that's great. That's really good that you noticed that. It is. It's something that he had. I think we've worked on him a lot just based on how we fake the ball. The different play fakes that we have. But right from day one, he came in. It's not easy to understand how to fake the football. And great quarterbacks, whether it's Brady, Manning, Rodgers, even these young guys, Kaepernick, and last night Vic. These guys are great fakers of the football. And it looks like Christian. He's not there yet. That's not what I'm saying. But I think he's got a good start in that department. We just need to keep working with him and reminding him how important it is.
Bill, Donovan Smith played a lot for you guys last year as a younger guy. I guess what did he do last season specifically to kind of show you guys that he was ready for that responsibility, protecting quarterbacks blindside as a younger guy?
Well, it started in practice. He practiced very well. He was a little inconsistent last year. I think he's a lot more consistent this year. He's a big guy, 315-pound guy who's very nimble, very athletic, smart guy, instinctive player. And so, he's a guy that's done a nice job for us. And coming into this year, another guy I think is taking his game to the next level. He's improved. I think he gave up a couple of pressures last week, but overall, he was Matt calls it the boss hog. He was the boss hog of the Syracuse game up front, and he deserved it. And so he's an improved player. Fun guy to be around too, great guy.
Bill, you always say you're constantly evaluating how you do things within the program, and with some of the scrutiny that a lot of the stars in college football have come under for things they put on the internet, have you evaluated training programs or things you can say to your guys to avoid those same kind of mistakes?
Sure, yeah, we've brought in different people. We have people here in the athletic department, Jeff Nelson's crew here, that come over early in the season and talk to us about tweeting and Facebook and all that stuff, and then obviously I think it's just about daily that I'll stand up in front of the team and just talk to them about maybe it's some story that's out there, or maybe it's something that one of our guys put out there, but just to constantly remind them that you're a representative, of Penn State and the Penn State football program, and you're a high-profile person. That's just the way it is. That's what we all signed up for. So it's important that you understand whatever you Twitter out there is out there for everybody. You know what I mean, to see, and the same thing with the Facebook. And so so we try to educate our guys all the time on those things as best we can.
Bill, you've had some guys that cut a lot of weight this year, Daquan Jones being one of them. How hard is it to convince those guys to buy into a dietary program like that, getting the right sleep, getting the right nutrition?
That's an interesting question. I think when you're young, when you're talking to a young guy, a young big guy about losing weight, it's not always the easiest thing, especially when these college guys who are rushing from class to come over here to the team meeting, to the position meetings, and they're just grabbing a Big Mac or a Snickers bar or whatever they're grabbing at the hub. That's when it's hard. When you're in pro football, those guys they have the meal, 3 meals right there, and they got a nutritionist watching them. We have a nutritionist too, and Chris Clark, and she's done an excellent job with meeting with all these guys one-on-one, especially the guys that we wanted to talk to that about. So, I think that's part of it, having a professional talk to them about it, and then spelling it out for them. This is what you should have for breakfast. This is what you should have for lunch. This is what you should have for dinner. This is what you should have for snacks. I think that's a big part of it too. And Daquan's a guy that's taking that to heart.
On your left, can you just evaluate UCF as an opponent and what challenges you guys are going to face this Saturday?
Yeah, we face a big challenge. They're an excellent football team. They're very well coached. They're sound. They're physical. They're physical in all positions. It's not like they're just physical on the offensive and defensive line. To me, they're a physical team at every position. Our players better be ready to come and show up for a physical football game, because this isn't a game. This won't be a game for the faint of heart, And that's a Coach O'Leary trademark. And so, one of the things that you have to understand with their offense is they've got a really good quarterback. So, again, it's hard to totally stop a guy like that, but you've got to try to contain him. He's very, very good. He's a pro prospect, Bortles. Defensively, they're tough. They're physical. They do some different things that are not easy to go up against, and we're going to have a great practice week. And like I said, we have to limit our mistakes on Saturday. Right now, going in Central Florida, I don't believe has turned the ball over. We've turned it over way too much. So again, if we go in there and we turn the ball over, we're going to have a long night. So and commit line of scrimmage penalties and things like that, we're going to have a long night. So we've got to understand that and have a great week of practice and be focused and ready to go on Saturday. Simple.